Good evening, Facebook followers, family, friends. My name is Rob Heron. I proudly serve as the Public Safety Information Chief for your Hillsborough County Fire Rescue. And welcome to our first ever Behind the Badge live interview. I'm excited. My first guest is none other than the Chief Morris Mo Lopez, who is the A shift commander. Chief Lopez.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you for joining me on Behind the Badge number one.
This is awesome. You know, I don't think our people out there know as much about how little we get to sit down and talk shop. I mean, they don't see us around here every day. I mean, us talking before was fantastic. Just catching up on things. So yeah, I'm excited about this.
Good. Thank you. Thanks for joining me. This is awesome. So we do have some questions that came in from our followers. Welcome everybody who's jumping on. If you have questions you think of during the broadcast, you can drop them in the comments. We'll try to get to them. So we're going to kick it off. Chief Lopez is a 38-year veteran, right? So 38 years in the fire service is a long time. Yep. Let's go back 38 years. What inspired you to become a firefighter?
Well, I mean, you know, I've thought about that a lot. You know, I've been asked that question before, and you know, coming out of high school, I wasn't college material, so that was the first black mark. So my grandfather was a Tampa police officer, and he was killed in the line of duty. So it's always been an interest for me to be in public safety, and unfortunately, my mom wasn't having anything to do with the TPD. So I was still going to go to. Actually, it's one of the reasons I left home early, because I wanted to go to the police academy. So was going to go to the police academy and said to myself, you know, this is going to be great, but I couldn't get hired until I was 21. I was almost 21 at the time, 1920, when I did make the move. And I was getting ready to start, and I had a buddy of mine that said, "Hey, Mo, what are you doing? I heard you're going to the police academy." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, I'm going to the fire school, same building, 34th Street, 34th Street." And he said, "Well, good luck." He said, "I'm going to enjoy being a fireman." I said, "Well, good luck. I'll make more than you in an hour." And he says, "No, it doesn't matter. I'm only working every 3 days. Third day." I said, "Well, sign me up." And that's how I became a fireman.
And that was it. That was it. Wow.
I fell in love with it from the beginning.
All right. So I'm going to keep you going back to that time. Can you remember that first call, and what was it like?
I don't remember my first call, but I do remember my first fire. Right. I remember remember the old Station 7? Bloomingdale was Jerry'd over there. Yeah. And it was a trailer fire. It was fun. Right on. I had the bug after that.
So as I said, you're the A shift commander. It's a division chief level for our department. In that position, what leadership principles do you rely on the most?
Good question. My actions. Right on. Yeah. I mean, a good leader leads by actions, and I'm always positive. And you know, I would call myself a success warrior. I like to see people succeed. So you know, I like to empower people. My actions, and then the way I empower people, I think would be what kind of leadership role, you know, management style I use.
Right on. I love that.
And I care.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
I know you do. I know that.
A wise man told me one time on this job that said they can never take caring away from you.
That's right.
No matter what you do.
Yeah, and that's, you know, we're fortunate to be in a profession where that's pervasive, and
that's what makes it special.
You know, big hearts are around our department. And so if you're just joining us, I'm here with our A shift commander, Chief Morris Mo Lopez, affectionately known as Chief Mo. Tonight's the first Behind the Badge. This is going to be a series. We are going to interview people of all ranks, of all parts of Hillsborough County Fire Rescue, not just the frontline personnel who run the calls, but the folks who support them, our EDC people, our emergency management people, logistics people, support staff, everyone in between. I want you to get to know your HCFR. Yes, we respond to calls, and yes, we're there for you. But this is kind of that behind the scenes that we're humans, and we're people, and we have lives, families, and this is where we're going with that. So again, Chief Lopez, you know, you're a division chief, you're a shift commander. Do you miss being on the street running calls?
Well, I would if I had your job, but I think you and I actually probably get to run more calls. I wouldn't say I'm not on the front lines. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not dragging myself in there anymore, or crawling off the fire truck. But remember how we used to joke about the heavy, and they always ran the cool calls?
That's right.
Well, that's what I get to do as a shift commander.
I get it. That's what I get to do as PIO as well.
Right.
Cool calls, and that's pretty fun.
And I like to run calls. I mean, I like to get out there with my folks, and even if it's showing up on the scene to say, good job.
Yes.
Let me get you some water. Even
goes
shift
a long
commander
way.
will grab somebody some
Absolutely.
water.
That goes a long way. It really does. And, we can kind of see that throughout the department, present day.
Yep.
We have pretty high morale going right now.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
agree.
just acts like that just continue to make that grow. So what has kept you motivated and passionate about this job over the last 3 decades plus?
Remember, I spent 16 years as a firefighter, so I like to say my career 38 years is a little shorter. I say that because back in the day, I got hired in 1987, and I think I made $5 and something an hour. So having 2 days off raising a family was, I was hustling. So it took a while before I actually, made the move to a higher position and became a little more engaged.
Right on.
But as a firefighter, I enjoyed those times of not having to do anything.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. He's still shift commanding as we do this.
Sorry about that. So going forward, to stay motivated, once I got into a position that required me to actually work with and touch other people, I became addicted. And then I wanted to get to the next position. And in the last 20 years, I've actually worked my career and personal and career off of 5-year plans. And I'm in the 4th 5-year plan of the 20 years. So, and every time I had a certain goal, either professionally or personally, that I wanted to achieve. And I've made those marks. And a lot of times they were based on career and where I wanted to be. I never expected to be able to maximize my career. I really didn't. Yeah. But I'm here.
Here you are.
I stay motivated through challenging myself. I'm challenging myself right now. I mean, you never know. My next job may be my greatest job. You never know. That's
right. And and part of that 5-year plan is being the first ever behind the badge interview with yours truly.
Trendsetter.
That's right. Exactly. So we have various people watching. Various people going to see this. Maybe some new recruits, right? Mm-hmm. Some folks that want to get in the fire service, want to get hired with Hillsborough County Fire Rescue. So, what advice would you give this younger generation or folks that are interested in the fire service and HCFR?
You learn a lot over a career here, but it all goes back to basics. You guys joke with me when we meet the new recruits. I'll just walk up and say, my advice to you is master the corn broom. Right. Make sure you're sweeping the corners. Pay attention to the details. That may seem silly, but it's not, because it's all basic. This job is a blue-collar job with white-collar pay, and it's basic. And we have to have basics. Right. And we even have that as a theme right now as a department, getting back to basics and fundamentals.
That's right.
So if they can do that and stay positive, they'll have successful careers.
Right on. I love it.
And they could be behind the badge.
They sure can. I plan on. That's right. So rookies out there, anybody watching, you might be in this seat in the near future. So let's go from that new recruit back up to your position. What does a typical day look like?
Did you say typical?
Good point.
I mean, it's easy. A typical day starts at 4:30, here by 7. A little staffing in the morning. And then from 9 to 5, I'm putting out fires in between meetings.
That's right.
And then from 10 to 12, I'm putting out smoldering fires or any big fires that come. So it's very fluid around here. It's great. We have a great time. We're busy all the time. Yeah. We're busy all the time, and it's a good busy. There's some great things going on. So a typical day is never typical.
That's right.
Even today, look what we're doing.
I know, exactly. Here we are, interrupting dinner time, right? Thanks for joining us, by the way, out there in Facebook land. If you're breaking bread with your family, thank you for joining us. So let's get into family and not personal, but a little bit. Mm-hmm. How has this career impacted you and your family life over the years?
Extremely positive.
Yeah.
Extremely positive. It's always easy when you have two families, right?
That's right.
So, you know, shift work is very interesting. And, you know, if our people know that I still work a 24-hour shift. Sometimes the public doesn't understand that. But I'm optimal every third day.
That's right.
You know? And on my days off, I'm able to separate. Of course, as a shift commander, you work a lot. You know, I try and keep up by doing and staying involved in events and keeping up with the emails as much as I can on my days off. But it's been positive because I would have never thought I could provide for my family the way I have. So it's pretty special.
That's awesome. Hear that out there in Facebook land. You know, those are new recruits, anyone interested in this, there's so much that this job gives you. Yes, it's you know, financially supportive. It's retirement after the job supportive, but just the feeling and knowing that you're serving the community and you're, you know, it's very cliche. We use the term and that we respond to people's worst days and we try to do our best to make that better. And Chief Lopez has done that for over 3 decades. And now
I will take an elevate, not to interrupt you, but I do have to say that it does help to have. I've been married for 35 years, so
yes.
I have a very, very good support system and what I call a built-in therapist. So
I get it.
She's pretty special, and that's a big part of being able to survive the hard part of this job.
Right on. Yeah. I hear it. So, looking back at your career thus far, what accomplishment are you the most proud of? Sure, there's a lot, but if you could pick one, what would it be?
I would say my patience.
Good.
Yeah, I think I've accomplished patience in this job, and in general, especially when you're working with people and helping people and watching people grow and helping people grow. You have to be patient. You know, you have to be patient with yourself, and you have to be patient with others. So I've worked hard at that, and I think it's either because I'm old now, but I'm just much more patient.
Right on.
So I would call that an accomplishment, along with other things that, you know, are not that important. But I think the patience is a big deal. Yeah, and that helps all the way around in this job.
I've seen that.
You're patient at home.
I've seen that leading up to this very event. You're very patient with me as I'm designing this and planning.
This is great. This is great.
So, what do you think, kind of looking back at your career, what has been the most challenging call or moment in your career, and how did you handle that?
Challenging calls, I've had a lot. You know, I think back to calls that I've had, incidences that I have, but, you know, I guess that's probably good that I've been able to I have to really work hard to recall.
To pull it up?
Yeah.
That's good.
That hard drive in there is pretty tight.
Right on.
Which is good. But I can tell you that I did have a very rewarding opportunity in my career. In 2017, matter of fact, I just got promoted to BC, and in 2017, I think I was Battalion 6, and we had a big structure fire. It was a church. I was with Ronnie Johnson, and I was walking around the building doing my 360s, and got to the back of the building, and somebody said, "Hey, I need more water from truck." I think it was engine 11. I said, "I'm walking that way. I just walked by there. I'll walk again and find out." Well, when I made the corner, I saw the driver down, face down in the dirt, and he was not breathing. So, hey, I called a mayday.
Yeah, I bet.
So luckily we got the help there, and he survived and was able to retire. So it's not often that you get to help save one of your own. So that's pretty special moment. You got to be around 38 years for the odds of that. And let's hope I don't have that opportunity again.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Where do I go from that? Okay.
Hey, perfect example to make a point. You know, I actually spoke about this. You know, we have a system in place, a structure that we use that our admin designed, and and we use in our incident command. And
Yeah.
if I wasn't following that rule that day, then that guy doesn't go home.
That's right.
Yeah.
Whoa.
As a safety officer.
Yeah. Man. Wow. So, okay, shifting gears a little bit, is there a firefighter or mentor in your life who's made a big impact on your journey thus far?
We didn't. Mentorship came to me later on, as far as knowing about what it was about. I think that I had plenty of people that affected my life along my career. Some of them life-changing.
Yeah.
Some of them life-changing. When you get a good captain and you're 21,
yeah,
it can make a huge difference.
Yeah, make or break you, right?
Yeah, it can make or break you. I happen to be, and I could name many, many names, but still friends of mine. I was raised by some good people in this department, and I would say that they were all my mentors because they raised me.
I get it. I've been fortunate through my career here to have, supervisors, battalion chiefs, captains that, and even in this office, that just walked that perfect line between friend and boss. Yeah. They weren't a totalitarian. They weren't a pushover. And to me, that is the perfect combination. And I think that gets the best results.
I think that you do things because you don't want to disappoint somebody.
Correct.
Right?
Exactly.
I would prefer that.
Yes. Okay. So what's something the public might not realize about the day-to-day life of a firefighter?
The commitment, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a true commitment. And you could die doing this job. It's a commitment. And there is,
as you just described, the event that happened in 2017 that you avoided.
There is a word in our job description, and it's also in our mission statement, and it's called courage.
Yeah.
And you have to commit to that.
Yeah.
Because that's what this job is about.
It is.
That's what it's about.
It is. And the level of that. And it doesn't really stop when you go home.
No.
It obviously it's magnified when you're on duty, but it's always kind of present whenever you're in public places.
I have a full rewind period. I mean, I have a routine I go through when I get home that everything that I did the shift before, every conversation, it seems like it goes through my head.
Wow.
And that's just cool. Trying to understand and make sure that I, didn't miss anything, didn't do anything. And then that, that's a wind down period for me, kind of disconnect.
Well, the good news is tomorrow, this conversation, you just hit the play button and you'll be able to recant that. What's something about your personality that people might not expect from a person in your position as a division chief with this department?
I try to be. My personality is pretty positive, and they may not. I get joked with a lot, but I think I'm humble. I mean, I don't like I said. I love to see people succeed, and I think people that don't know me don't understand that I truly care about people. And it's in my nature. So. I think I'm pretty much an open book. There's not really anything that I do any different. I am, on my days off, who you guys see here during the day.
Very collaborative. Like when you get to a position that you're in, it'd be easy to be like, nope, this is the way I want to do things. But I kind of take you as we're going to collaborate. And at the end of the day, it's your
cooperation and trust.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. That's huge. So you kind of alluded to this a little bit, and this was one of the questions from one of our followers. Talked about kind of when you get home, you kind of recant what happened. And as a chief, that's powerful. But as you were coming up in the department, firefighters, EMS, we're exposed to some things that can have some challenges mentally. How did you go about you kind of talked about the hard drive and things like that in your family. So like what tools did you have, if any, that helped you in some situations like that?
I started to learn tools along the way. I always I never really spoke about my work at home.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I've never done.
Never brought it home.
I never brought it home. I mean, every once in a while I'd throw out a car accident when my girls were driving to, just to get their attention.
Yeah.
I'd say, I ran this yesterday, make sure you stop at this light.
Right.
But I never really, and they asked all the time. So, I'll tell you off camera a funny joke I used to tell them all the time about, I get their attention like I ran this call and it ended up being a joke.
Yeah.
But I always kept it separate.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'd throw things out there to get their attention. But along the way, I've learned that one of the most important things has been my spiritual growth and faith.
Yeah.
I think that's probably
here.
Yeah. That's probably one of the things that's helped. And when I say that downtime, hey, we went dark.
Sorry. It's just not enough movement.
I like the mood lighting. When we
should activate.
When we when we get home, that decompression time is important, especially when you're running calls and serious stuff like that. Even for me, with the overwhelming amount of people that are out there that we're actually managing and that we want to keep safe.
Yeah.
I run scenarios through my head all the time about other people, about keeping other people safe.
Right.
And then I'm able to I've learned how to just kind of disconnect and shut it down after that. And, the faith and the physical activity and having the good support system.
Yeah. That family you spoke about.
Right. But today, that's where the departments change. We have, even the new laws coming down from the state have so much to do with firefighter health and safety.
Yeah.
And we have our department has done such a great job with the resources. It's Chief Dougherty is just, he's given, that whole health and safety, hey, just initiative to do, and it's happening.
Yes.
And we're going to, I may not see the results as much, but some of the younger firefighters out there are going to see the results for a long time with their health.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their mental health, all of it, really. It's in the last several years, it's kind of been come to the forefront of the fire service in general. And we're fortunate here in Hillsborough County Fire Rescue that we've kind of been on the leading edge of that.
And a lot of things, but that's one of the most important.
It is. Do you have any memorable stories involving the community that's really stuck with you over the last several years?
I think one of the most important things to me is that I got this feeling one time when I went to Paint Your Heart Out. And Chief Ford does a great job. But when you do that kind of thing, excuse me, when you do that kind of thing, you don't think about it. But when you walk away, the feeling that you have about what you did for someone, and this is not helping somebody that's injured in a critical time. This is just general kindness.
Yep. A different type of service.
And I got hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. What he does is a phenomenal job.
So Paint Your Heart Out, for those who don't know, is a charitable event, usually in April of every year, where several organizations around the whole Bay Area descend upon folks who, usually elderly people who otherwise couldn't do this, paint the exterior of their house. And we bring a team of 15 to 20 to where we're done in, I don't know, an hour. I don't know, an entire exterior home. It's pretty neat. We remote sometimes. We do some maintenance things.
When you leave there that day, whether we work till noon or we work till 3 o'clock, it is a feel-good day all the rest of the day. You feel like you really help somebody with a group of people that you care about.
Yeah, because the change is immediate.
Yeah,
you see it immediately.
So the community is important to me, and I've tried to I try to go to any event that we have that involves the community, because I think it's so important, that relationship and partnership, and they need to know that we're out there and we're doing the things to help.
Yeah,
outside of running
calls. Exactly. What's a tradition or a value of Hillsborough County Fire Rescue that you hope never changes?
Wow, that's a good. I like that. Our mission statement.
Yeah,
never. Duty, honor, and courage.
Yeah. Professionally serve all through duty,
and
honor, and
tattoo to follow.
Yeah. Right on.
One day.
Cool. I like it.
No, I'm serious. That's pretty special, and we all had a part in that. I mean, people don't. You got to think back of when we started this, and of course nobody likes change, but everyone had a part. Most people had a part in that aspect. There were a lot of people asked, and it is truly what we are.
Right on.
It really is, and I hope that never goes away.
I love it. That's true. I agree with you. I don't think it will. It's been almost every post that I put up.
Beautiful.
I put a duty, honor, courage picture up there. Before we jump into our rapid fire for fun and see what's going on, I'm gonna kick it over to Danny over there. Is there anything that you saw come in question wise that we can throw at Chief from the comments?
So one of the questions was, how much hair product do you use?
All right, if you missed that one, how much hair product does he go through? Oh, there's firefighters watching this, and I love
it. This is great. How much do you go through, Danny?
I go through about a pick a week.
A pick a week. On the other side of the camera is Danny Alvarez. He's TDY with me in the as Public Safety Information Chief, and that's not a surprise. And I have a feeling Danny picked the tamest one. Oh, thanks, man.
Awesome.
So I know we got to let you cut loose here in a few minutes, but I'll ask you one more, and then we'll get to the rapid fire. So let's do a little, think back historically. How has the fire service changed since you first started? I know you could probably talk about that for a long time.
But I'll tell you this, the fire service, the only fire service I've known is Hillsborough County Fire Rescue.
So how has we changed?
So I can tell you how we've changed.
Let's do it.
Well, we'll start with 299. I think our last hire group was 2,075 badge number.
Wow.
So what does that mean? 299, we didn't have a whole lot of help and we didn't have a whole lot of great equipment, but we had some hard working, get her done people, man. And that's been our tradition, and that's what we are. I mean, we're a get it done fire department, and
love it.
Even though technology has changed and data is huge. I mean, what our planning department does with data. I mean, Chief Dougherty is just, what we have set up here. We are going to be a nationally recognized department.
Yeah.
So we have changed with those times, and we have grown. The department's grown tremendously, but the technology, everything that comes with it, it's all great and it makes things easier. But the bottom line is we're firefighters and we have to be able to operate with nothing.
That's right.
And whatever we can get in a bonus with a tick and those kind of things are great. But the bottom line is we have to be able to operate when nobody else can.
That's right.
And technology is great, and advancements in air packs, and even the social environment and the call volume has changed. It's very
big time.
It's busy. And after 2001, our department, the whole industry changed again. Think about it: Homeland Security, and now we have to take terrorist threats into mind. So, in general, it's changed a lot. This particular department has changed tremendously with the growth, and I think that we've done a great job adapting to it.
Right.
And we will going forward.
I agree.
Yeah.
We're problem solvers with a purpose, right? We come to these scenes, we come to these situations, and I remember when I was getting checked off to act driver, I was with Chief Wargo then, and he said that, Robbie, that fire engine is just a big toolbox, and you look at your problem and you use the tools in that toolbox.
Yeah.
You might have to use them in a way that they're not quite designed for, or you put A and B together and it equals D, but fix that problem with what you got in the toolbox.
And what a great mentor that is! What a great firefighter!
I know. I was privileged.
And
I worked under him for 9 years.
That's the person that I actually first time what I saw command presence meant.
Really?
On a fire scene.
Right on.
Yeah, he took command presence. It was solid.
Yeah, I worked for Chief Wargo for 9 years over at Station 20. It was pretty awesome. Some things came in from comments we'll throw at you real quick. Any regrets?
Regrets? No regrets. No regrets.
Good. And then any teams you would have liked to have been a part of.
I can tell you what I didn't want to be a part of.
What's that?
Hazmat.
Yeah.
You're not getting me in a suit that I can't get out of on my own. I would have cost the county a fortune. I would have had a knife cutting myself out of that. If I had
Is there a quick release on this thing?
On one of those guys to get me out of there.
That's fair. Well, I get it.
I rappelled down the ship the other day with the heavy, and that they were doing the rope class, and of course they left me down there. So you can imagine them; they would have left me in a hazmat suit.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So no, not really. I've kind of participated in everything to a certain extent. I would have liked to have been more involved with special ops, but I like what I do with them now. They just,
I just kind of feed up.
I just get to hang out.
You get to go drop in and rappel.
Yeah, right. I just get to do. I get to do the cool stuff.
That's right. That's the beauty of this position, right, for you.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll wrap up. Chief's got something he's got to get to here shortly. We're gonna throw some rapid fire at him. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
Coffee. Me too. Coffee all day. Helmet or radio? What's more important in a pinch?
I say radio.
Oh, good. All right. We'll call it the most used firehouse meal. Chili, pasta, or grilled cheese?
Out of those, pasta.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of those, wouldn't think it. I know there was coming.
A couple slabs of Greek ribs marinated all day with a homemade mojo and some wild rice and asparagus, or whatever we decide to throw together for the day. It's not.
He's saying at 7 o'clock after we haven't had dinner yet. And also, you might recognize Chief Lopez from our cooking segment we did in the fall, right?
Yeah.
Where you were, I think that was
made
put
some
on by the
Spanish
county.
bean soup.
Spanish bean soup.
Yeah.
So this isn't his first time being in
all the problems get solved in the kitchen.
In the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And all and at the dinner table. All the decisions are made.
All the decisions are made.
All right, last one, and we'll cut you loose. One word that your folks on A shift would use to describe you.
My folks on A shift. That's that. If it's one word, I can tell you, I wouldn't even take a chance. But I can tell you.
Careful with his answer.
I could tell you that I got a note from one of them today about doing this, and I teased them. So what I'm going to answer there is you will have to ask them. And
when they sit here?
Yeah, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap into every show now to watch that answer.
Yeah.
So you can ask my A shift team, and they can answer on Behind the Badge, and that way we keep it going. Right?
That's way to set the bar for all those that were putting up these questions, like how much product do you use?
Yeah.
You might end up in this seat someday, or seat somewhere else. I plan on going to fire stations and not just doing it here. By the way, we're at our Public Safety Information Complex, our headquarters. That's where we are, and who was it said we would describe him as great? I think that was Adam. Somebody said that. I agree. Chief Lopez, thanks.
Thank you.
Behind the Badge, #1's in the books.
Dude,
man.
this is
I appreciate
great.
you.
This is great.
Thank you so much. This is awesome.
This has been fun. Thank you,
Facebook
everyone.
fam, thank you for joining us. We will, the man from Carlito, and you'll see this on post to our page. I've also recorded it for YouTube, and look forward to more. We're gonna do all ranks, different locations, and just get to know Hillsborough County Fire Rescue. So thanks for joining us. If you haven't eaten, enjoy your dinner. We're gonna. Bye.